place I would rather be. No place I would rather be. No place I would rather be. Here in your love, here in your love. No place I would rather be. No place I would rather be. No place I would rather be. Here in your love, here in your love. No place I would rather be. No place I would rather be. No place I would rather be. But here in your love, here in your love. No place I would rather be. No place I would rather be. No place I would rather be. But here in your love, here in your love. No place I would rather be. No place I would rather be, God. No place I would rather be. But here in your love. No place I would rather be. No place I would rather be. No place I would rather be. But here in your love, here in your love. So set a fire down in my soul that I can't contain, that I can't control. I want more of you, God. I want more. Come on, sing it with us. Set a fire down in my soul that I can't contain, that I can't control. I want more of you, God. I want more of you, God. So set a fire down in my soul that I can't contain, that I can't control. I want more of you, God. I want set a fire. Set a fire down in my soul that I can't contain, that I can't control. I want more of you, God. I want more of you, God. Yeah. No place I would rather be. No place I would rather be. No place I would rather be. Here in your love, here in your love. No place I would rather be, God. No place I would rather be. No place I would rather be. Here in your love, here in your love. So set a fire down in my soul that I can't contain, that I can't control. I want more of you, God. I want more of you, God. Set a fire down in my soul that I can't contain, that I can't control. I want more of you, God. I want more of you, God. Father, we're here in your presence, just wanting more, see you more in our lives, in the little interactions that we have with people, in the little things that we do. God, we've come here for a faith recharge. We come here for healing. We've come here for peace. Most of all, we come here just to meet with you and to see the goodness, your glory in our lives through your Holy Spirit. So God, as we bask in your presence this morning, just ask you to open our ears now that we might hear you speak in the still small voice, or whether it's a still small voice, or whether it's a big booming message that we've needed to hear for all of our lives. God, we just ask that you help us tune into your Spirit now. Thank you for being an awesome God, and for this opportunity that we can worship here freely and safely. Thank you for your Son, Jesus Christ, that he died on the cross for us and gave us a reason to sing. I pray these things in your precious name. Amen.
got my ticket to come to Canada, and we walked into the airport, and I saw how big these planes are, and I stepped in, and my dreams changed. I was like, there's no way I'm gonna be a pilot. Right? We were still on the ground, and when the plane started taking off, yeah, I was like, definitely this is not my dream. So we changed that so quickly. And then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna become a doctor, because if you're not a pilot, you have to be a doctor. Like, I don't know. Yeah, I disappointed my parents when. So the story is, we were having a church picnic back in Toronto, and my uncle was seeing us young kids doing flips. Like, believe you me, back then I could do one flip with my hands. I've never done a backflip before, so my uncle is like, step aside, people, step aside. I'm gonna show you how to do it. He runs, does a flip, dislocates his ankle. And I was there. I watched it. And my dreams changed. I was like, there's no way I'm gonna become a doctor if I can't even see this. I was crying for him, he was laughing. He was like, well, why are you crying? So I ended up doing his physio. By the way, this has nothing to do with the sermon. I'm just getting the nervousness out, all right? And I ended up doing his physio, and I was like, hey, I can become a massage therapist. But I was like, nah, my hands shake too much, I can't do that. So I was like, what can I showed up in Alberta. Yeah, now I'm here. So, welcome to church, guys. Grab my Bible right here. Have you ever asked yourself why you're a Christian? Why did you choose to become a Christian? Well, I asked myself that question like 2010. How long ago was that? I was graduating high school with my friend Josh. Where is he at? We were graduating high school, and I was like, man, I don't know what Christianity is, but someone wants me to become a pastor, so I don't know what I'm going to be teaching if I don't even know. So recently, I wrote this spoken word, and this will just cave in now to the sermon. It says, why? Why am I a Christian? When I look at the world unfold, the old tricks of fun and entertainment that require full commitment, which seem to attract my attention at 3D dimension. The brood heard by my lonesome ears, through the years I split my affection, so I question, why am I a Christian? Is it by birth that I'm a Christian, born into it, yet torn apart by the nature's best perception of deception? Or rather taught to obey the Lord's day by a woman I call my mother, who's also another human? Many haven't answered this question because they simply neglect to reflect who Jesus is and what he can do. I included, to the mess that brought no success, would like to confess that Jesus is the answer to this question. So let me tell you why I'm a Christian, or attempt to. I'm a Christian by choice. So to voice my words with my heart chords, I simply access the truth so I might undress the lie that ties our eyes to the surprise of it all. So I soliloquize and gather my thoughts that fought the tears ascending as to war from the pale skies of my eyes. I remembered the cross that paid my tuition for the admission to the family, so I froze to compose a sweet song of redemption. I'm a Christian every time I look at the mirror and ask mirror on the wall, who's the prettiest of them all? I see Jesus living in me and through me and whispering, you're the apple of my eye. I'm a Christian not because of tradition in religion, but through my decision in submission to the creator of this clay-like structure called me. Created in the image of God is a fiction to me. But to him, there's a vision of perfection and completion of this Christian definition. So this is why I'm a Christian. But it's not easy. Because I wrote that when I was so much in love with Jesus. Have you ever been so much in love with Jesus that it's scary? Ever been in love so much that it's so scary? That when someone You know, like in a relationship, when someone says, yo, I love you, you're like, hey, back it up a little bit. We're not there yet, you know? So I was there with Jesus. I think I was telling Jesus way too much there. So, yeah, so my journey, I'm going to share with you my journey. Just like many Bible characters, my journey always started with me being so much in love with Jesus. So in 2013, when I was in university, I used to be in a relationship, which was amazing, right? So distance, we broke up, and now we meet at my cousin's wedding. And I'm like, oh my goodness, why did I break up with this girl? It's amazing, you know. We were dancing and having fun, and I came back to Alberta. She went to Toronto, and as soon as Alberta, I said in my heart, I'm gonna park my car, I'm gonna drive to Toronto. No plan. So, but you know, God is funny. God is like, that's what you wanna do? All right. So, I parked my car. Surprisingly, everything I owned back then, fitted in a Mazda Protege. That was amazing. I was a true bachelor, guys. I could live in my car. So I didn't tell nobody because I thought everybody would be judging me and all this. And so one day I just got up, parked my car, went to my aunt's place, had tea, because you know we Africans love tea. So I had tea and went and did an oil change, and I was like, I am ready. Took the Highway 16 from Edmonton, and on I go. So, like I said, God has a sense of humor. I'm like, God, this is gonna be amazing. I'm finally moving back to Toronto. Isn't that what everybody wants? Yeah, let's do it. I get to Lloydminster, the border of Alberta and Saskatchewan, and I hear this strange noise in my tires. And I was like, since I'm not a mechanic, I'm gonna do what every non-mechanic does. Check what's wrong. And I saw it's the brakes. I was like, maybe they're just overheated from me driving 5 hours. So what does a good driver does? He goes to the store, buys a bottle of water, and comes and he pours it in the tires. Great. Problem solved. So, like, I'm excited, you know, nothing is stopping me at this point. But, you know, I realized, so I come back on the highway and catch the highway, I'm going, I'm driving by myself, I'm singing at the top of my voice. So, my friend here, Kaden, will tell you when I'm in the car, it's my time to sing. I sing, I don't care, like I'm singing. If you hear me, great. I'm not a great singer, so. So I'm singing, I'm excited, but now when I go to stop, my car takes a little bit longer to stop, and the noise got louder. And I was like, man, I pull over, sit for 2 hours, let it cool off first. I was like, yeah, I could use a nap. So I pulled up, you know, I'm sleeping, got up, keep going. People, I had $200 in my account. It was supposed to take me from here to Minnesota. Mom was gonna give me more money, take me from Minnesota to Toronto. So where I slept, where I took a nap, I went to reverse and I busted my taillight. That's a no-no in America. You cannot have anything wrong with your car, especially your taillight. But Eric didn't care. I did not know that rule. So I'm driving, I was like, I'm gonna stop at the border. So I get to the border, nervous as I am, you know, but excited. The guards are like, hey, where are you headed? I'm like, yo, I'm just driving through. I'm going to Toronto. That's why I packed my bag coming from Edmonton, going to Toronto. They're like, yeah, all right, good. You know, they're like, enjoy your drive. So I'm driving, and it's pitch black at this point. Where I'm going, my phone dies. And I was like, you know what? I have printed my map, you know, but I can't see. So I'm going to pull up at the side of the road and sleep. So I slept, got up in the morning. And I was like, great. Now it's just driving till my mom's. I'm on, I'm on the highway, and if you know America, when you get to the cities, the traffic is heavy, right? And now, once again, my brakes are not working, and I'm in the highway. I'm just praying when I press on the, like, I've ever pressed on your brakes, and your brakes happens in winter, your car just keeps going. I was like, if I have to, I'll put this car into the ditch. Excitement. When you're excited about something, you'll do absolutely anything. So, thanks to God, I drove all the way and I got to my uncle's place in the States, and I parked my car and I did not touch that car. Because even putting it on my, like, going at 5 kilometers, so at least it can stop so I don't go into my uncle's garage. All right? So, yeah. Got there, I chilled. I waited for my mom to pick me up, and then my mom said something like this: Eric, would you car to my house? No. With it does not stop. And my mom is like, oh, so how did you get it here? I was like, well, I think I flew in. I don't know what happened, mom. So it's crazy. It's crazy. So I stayed there until my stepdad decided to come, check the brakes, and it was the brakes all this time. I was like, wow, the brakes were totally gone. Like I was driving in faith. So so this was in July that I got there, and like they were just having their Pathfinder camporee. So my mom was like, hey, you're recruited, we're going to camp. So I was like, I'm on vacation, I don't know what I'm doing, but my journey was to go to Toronto, not stay here. And I called my brother in Toronto, I was like, yo, I'm going camping with mom, I'm gonna come sometime next week. My brother's like, that's fine, have fun with mom. I did not know that this was the time I'm gonna break down completely. So I go camping, and I I've never hated Pathfinder the way I hated that weekend. Like, I got there, and I was like, really? Like, I like sleeping in tents. But that day, I was like, nah, we're not sleeping in a tent. And I go into a fight with my mom, with my sister, with all the leaders, and I was like, what's going on? So I ended up going to my stepdad's house. And I'm chilling there for 2 months. I was fighting with God. I did not understand what was wrong. But God wanted to tell me something. And I wasn't ready for it. So I got the basement to myself. The basement, my stepdad had a dog and a cat. They were both black, all right? Nothing racist about them. They just loved me so much, all right? They will come there all the time. And like, I will sleep with them, so I'm fighting with God. At this point in my life, I had never drunk alcohol. I was good, like 2013. Yeah, I was good, and then everything changed. My younger sister calls me up. Eric, come visit me in school. This is American universities, all right? Please don't send your kids there. Terrible. Send them to the Adventist ones. Those are good. Now I'm going to a secular university where my sister attends. And as I get there, since I'm 22, my sister's friends are like, hey, you are older. You're 21 years old and older, right? I was like, yeah, what's up? They're like, how about you go buy us alcohol? I was like, that's all I gotta do? All right. Walked in, walked out with alcohol, over in America, everything is supersized. I'm not even joking. Everything is supersized. Like alcohol is supersized. So I go there, I come out with 2 alcohol, and I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna be interested. But I was so angry with God that when I got back to the house, like I said, I'd never drank in my life before. They have this thing that they call a powerhouse. It's where you take 3 shots, and that's a powerhouse. I kid you not, these people will have they'll have 9 shots at one go. So I was like, I'll show them what Canadians do, right? I'm a true Canadian, so sit there, I take the 9 shots, and literally, kid you not, I fell down to my face. Like you know when you cut a tree and the tree just falls down? I fall down like that. And they helped me up, and I was like, I can't be here. Now I'm walking to the car. It was a full moon that night. So I'm walking to the car, and lo and behold, I look at the moon and I'm like, God, I want to be so drunk for you. Like, yeah, I want to feel like this for you. So I get to my car, I was like, let me go back. As I go back, there's a fight. People, I'm like, everything that was about to happen was just happening in my life at that point. And so I was like, God, I don't want to get involved. So I go and I grab those 2 kids out, and I get hit, and all the alcohol leaves my brain. Like, what? And I get sober, straight up. And I was like, okay, good. So now I'm not doing this anymore. I go in and I sleep. I leave there, I go back to my stepdad's place, and I'm chilling with him. We're talking, we're playing games, and I go downstairs. If you've never been so angry with God to the point that you cry, tears that only Him understands, man, I'm telling you, that's a different feeling. It's a different level of a relationship with God. Because I remember going down to that basement that night, and I wrote Edmonton or Toronto. And I was like, God, you are going to tell me where to go. And I, for once, am going to listen. So I was like, we're going to play a game, God. I'm going to think about a city. You bring peace and warmth, and if it's a bad city, just bring all the bad things. So I started with Toronto, because I'm like, yo, I want to go to Toronto, right? Started with Toronto. And me being a burden to my brother, because he has a family, and me being there, starting over, and everything. Just felt like, not my place. The traffic, we don't like traffic. And just all that things, like, no. And then I started thinking about Edmonton, and all I could think about is Bible studies. I could think about youth leadership. I thought about becoming someone. And I was like, good, God. So I was like, all right, we're going back to Edmonton. Now I got to get my car ready, right? I don't want the same problem to happen to me this time. And so as I'm coming, from my stepdad's place, going back to where my sisters were, I'm driving there, and I was with my mom, and a cop pulls us over. He's like, sir, do you know your taillight is broken? I was like, I wanted to tell him I've known it 3 weeks ago, but I was like, no. I just got into the city. I'm just going to go fix it tomorrow. And he's like, good. Because, I had to get my car ready so I can come back. So the journey back, I was excited once again. Excited. But I was like, God, show me a moose. I'd never seen a moose in my life at that time. It's like, show me a moose. And now I'm back to Canada, and the first Tim Hortons I found, I stopped. Because I'm a true Canadian, you gotta have Tim Hortons, right? I took a picture, selfie, sent it to my mom. I'm like, guess what? I'm drinking Tim Hortons. I'm done with Starbucks. And so my mom is like, great, keep me posted. And all this excitement, come back in the car. There's this town called Moose Jaw in Saskatchewan. I don't know if you people know it. So I see it, I'm like, yes, I'm gonna see a moose. Because the moose, like when you come to Red Deer, you gotta see a deer. I was told that. So now I'm driving, and I kid you not, I see the sign, Moose Jaw, and I was like, great. Like literally 5 kilometers ahead, I see like a statue of an animal just chilling on the road with like antlers, Like I thought it was a statue, and then it moved. Oh my goodness, I was like, God, great. So this is the right thing that we're doing, we're going. So I get to Edmonton, and once again, I hit the valley. So I hit the valley, and I was like calling my dad, and my dad did not want me to come live with him. I don't know why. So I was like, great, I'm gonna live in my car. So I lived in my car for a month. Once again, I was like, God, you brought me back here to live in my car? Like, really? I was kicking it in that basement, you know? But he brought me in, started. Now fast forward, 2015. I have my friend just worked at camp. Now we go to see a movie on Friday night. I'm a bad Adventist, people. I went and saw a movie on Friday night. Mercy. That day, I think Jesus was mad, but I don't know. I didn't ask him. As we were coming back, we stopped at Boston Pizza. We had a meal. And after the meal, we're driving out. And within like 2 kilometers from where we were, accident. I got hit so bad that my left side was paralyzed from my chest down. I couldn't feel anything. You know, like I passed out. I got up. I was in the hospital. I'm freaking out. I'm moving one side, but the other side is just like, you know, not moving at all. Oh my goodness. I have a neck brace. I can't move anywhere. And God, really? Yeah. I was out for a month. And I was in my room. And I was like, God, why don't you just kill me right now? The first time I ever thought about killing myself. It was so bad that I remember just lying in looking at my ceiling, pitch black. I don't know what time it was, and tears were just rolling out. And I was like, God, what's the purpose? Why am I alive? So, since I was starting to get depressed, I took out my neck brace, throw it out, which I wasn't supposed to do, because, yeah, having a whiplash isn't that good. That accident was so bad that I got hit, my head swung, and hit my friend who was sitting in the passenger, and his collarbone. Talk about an African head. Yeah, I'm telling you guys. Like, yeah, so that's always the joke. I'm like, he can't sit next to me anymore, so, because I never know what I'm going to break. God led me through that. So in 2015, after the accident, now, let me tell you how messed up this is. In 2015, on Valentine's Day, it was a Sabbath, and I was like, God, I recommit my life to you. All right? Because I've done so much. I've left the church. I've gone to different churches trying to find who God is, you know, like, and doing all these things. I literally left the church. And now I'm like, God, I'm going to give my life to you. February 14th, I go to church. I'm like, psych, not today. Walk away. And then February 28th, I get into a car accident that almost killed me. When the cops came, they were like, if it was a second earlier or a second later, we will be burying you. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, a second took me out of the accident. And I was like, God, why? Why? Right? So, in 2016, still in 20, on my birthday, I was like, God, since I missed it that first time, I'm going to give myself to you on my birthday. And it's going to be great. It's going to be like a love story. Right? It's like excited. And then Friday, since I'm a bad Adventist, on Friday, soccer at work with my Kenyan. I will play, you know, like, out. And then, yo, Eric, come over and make us food, because you're a good cook. Come make us some food. And I beat the lie, went there, and they attempted. In this, you can either done something without nobody knowing, and it's all a surprise, right? So I'm there making chapati, like making, I'm cooking, I'm slaying this thing, like and then all of a sudden I see people coming in with alcohol. And it reminded me of 2013. It's like, God, no, I'm not doing this. We're like, hey, let's take a shot. 1, 3, pass out. But the next day, go get baptized. So, and who we got into a car accident with, I was like, come pick me up. I can't stay here. Because it was like, I had planned it. I was like, it's my birthday. I'm getting baptized. I'm going to invite people to come eat. I'm gonna make a feast. I had roommates in the house in Edmonton. And one roommate was like a brother to me. He is a brother. He told me, Eric, if I ever find you drunk, I will beat the blackness out of you. Exact words. So, day, he was the first one to come to my room. I am hungover. God, I was so angry at God. I was like, no, myself also. And he comes and he lies there and he can smell my breath. All that. And then he leaves. And then I'm like, yo, let's go to church. I text him. I was like, yo, let's go to church. So I get ready. We go to church. I sit in the back seat. I sit there, At this time, I was a youth leader, and all the youths were like around me, and I was like just chewing gum, trying to pretend that everything's cool. My red. I kid you not. I go back home. I'm cooking, and he comes to the kitchen. Enoch. So he comes to the kitchen, and I'm like, something's been disturbing me the whole day. Out of me. How come you didn't say anything? He's like, I was waiting for you to come talk to me. Oh my goodness. I started crying right there. And that's when I knew that, God really, he'll come and beat me up. Just allows me to approach him. That's what God is like to us. So I moved to Red Deer, and it's great. I got baptized August 15th of 2015 because I was like, this is it. Finally, I'm just going to give my life to God. And after that, youth leadership, everything I thought about while I was in that basement started becoming reality. Youth, I became a youth worker. I started off a Bible study, and I started mentoring. One thing that excites me the most is I can be angry with God, and God will still see me through. Like I'm telling you guys, you can be dead, but aren't you glad we have Lazarus in the Bible? That when you die, Jesus is going to come and call you out, like spiritually dead. We can be blind Bartimaeus, spiritually blind. And when Jesus comes your way and you call out to him, he'll ask you, what do you want? And you'll know exactly what you want. I want to see again. And I like how, come meeting, the guy said, when Jesus restores your sight, the first person you see is him. Clearly. But the story I'm excited about is the woman at the well. Because I can identify to her. Because every morning we get up, we walk the same path. Even though we know people are talking about us, people are like, check out Eric. Such a bad Adventist. He goes to party on Friday. Check him out, doing the floss and everything, But we walk that road every single day to go get what we want, what we need. And this woman did that for days upon days upon days. But this is the thing that blew my mind. When it was time for a change, Jesus had to prepare himself to meet her. He's like, this is what happens. Jesus is like, hey, yo guys, go to the city, get me some food, get some food. And then Jesus waits at the well. And this woman walked the same road. It's not like there was like, back roads. She walked the same road to get to the well at noon every single day. And she will hear all these whispers, all these talks, things that discourage us as Christians, gossips, all these disappointments, failures, and all these things. And then when she got at the well, they have this conversation. Transforms you completely, right? She gets transformed, and guess what, people? She goes back the same road she came. And when she got back to the city, the same people who are talking about her, she went and told them, "Come and see a man that I met. Come." And they all came and they heard Jesus. Because like, when someone wants things to happen to you, they're invested in knowing what's going on in your life. So when she went back, and she's like, "People, come and see the man." Guess who were the first people in line? The ones gossiping about her. The ones that were putting her down. The ones that were calling her all these names. They were the first in line running to go see this new man, so they can have something to talk about. And when they got there, Jesus is like sweet and all this, and then that one is changed. So guys, I went through my journey. Started in 2013, way before that. Right now I'm still walking the journey, but I know that whenever I have a storm, that Jesus is gonna come in. I know that when I'm comfortable in church, Jesus is gonna call me out. And when people don't like me, well, great. I just have to tell them about Jesus. They just have to like one person, Jesus. So I don't know what journey you're going through, guys. But last year, after having an amazing comeback and all that, last year was hell on wheels for me. And I don't know how to describe it. I'm very active. And so being active, as a youth worker, you're always running. So we took our kids out to camp. Away at camp, we had these bingo cards that they had to play. And one of the things was to beat me in a race, right? Thing about being African, beat me in a race, Kenyan, like, that, they always wanted to race me. And I was like, fine, put it in. So we get there. Now it's Saturday morning. We just came from breakfast. And all these kids are like, "Eric, we got to beat you in a race." So we stand, 100, I win. They're like, "Nah, let's do that again. 100, I win." The third time I'm running, I hear an explosion in my leg. It was so loud that I was like, "What is this?" But before I could think, there was this pain that shot in my nerves. And once again, fell down. I don't have any body control. When stuff like this happens, I fall down, face first. I fall down. And as I'm falling, you can see all the kids just running. And they're like, "We won!" And I'm like, "Ugh." And then another journey begins then. When you think everything is fine and you put God in the back seat, I don't know, something happens to catch your attention. Maybe it's we're reminded of who God is and everything, but my hamstring had a grade 2 tear. So it wasn't a complete tear, it was a grade 2 tear. So no surgery, I can't stretch it, I can't do anything. Now I was off for the summer. And in that time, my brother had come to town. And now my brother is alcoholic. And he couldn't handle me being injured. He couldn't handle seeing me down and defeated. He couldn't handle that. If he saw me like that, he'll go out and drink. And then come out drunk and we'll get into a, and I can't move. I'm stuck in the couch. And so like it was so I started heading down. In that period, I quit my job. Bad decision ever. Quit my job. So I'm not making any money. Now all these bills are piling up, and I'm like, God, where are you? To fast forward, I burnt out. And now, November last year, I get a call from one I used to meet. Whew! God, wow. The call went like, hi, Simba, because that was my company name. Hi, Simba. I'm calling you to tell you suicide. Wow. Ah, God. Whew. No, I'm not going to cry. Ah. And so that happened. And guess where the kid is, people? The kid was here in Red Deer. And I thought about him. I thought about texting the kid. And I didn't. And then I get this call from the dad, said the funeral is at this place and all this. And I remember just completely. I went to the funeral. And I sat there with two of the people who were helping with the mentorship and our camp director. And I looked at them, I was like, don't touch me, guys. I don't want anything to do with God right now. And I remember coming home. And I wrote this. I was lying down, spoken word. I lie down in my carpet. And I was like, you know what? I had a knife right there. I had a plan. I was like, this is how I'm going to end it. But once again, God showed up at the right time. Is after I wrote this, as I close. I come to you with a confession of my depression. It's not to share, but since this is a close session, to share my obsession to you. I hope you hear me out because my depression has changed my self-expression, causing me to stand still in my own progression. Depression has invited anxiety into my society. I with no authority, I'm left wandering out in the streets like a headless chicken stricken with a curse. In confusion, I tried to understand my stance in all this. I was a prisoner of my own making. My generous personality invited unwanted friends who turned out to be my greatest enemies with a lot of felonies. Their traps allured me with lies so sweet that I couldn't resist the invitation to my own funeral. I was set on this road, and like a toad, I didn't realize the water was boiling beneath me and slowly consuming my last breath. Fear started speaking to me, saying there's no hope, there's no future, and slowly my thoughts drifted like a scene from a play composed with clay and took me to a butcher's shop. I saw a knife clenched on the butcher's hands, and a gentle feeling swept through the atmosphere, leading my feet marching and my hands searching for a subject and for an object sharp enough to penetrate my hard skin. The claws were out, and I was now the producer of my own body's abuser. I started spreading rumors of war among my brain cells. And with a keen preparation and my intensified supervision, war broke within my anatomy with great brutality. This war lasted for days, Sorry, for months. Huh, really? It's been years. I just lost count on who was winning. I was exhausted from this fight. I had no sight of any light to victory. And my history started revealing the scars caused by the intruder. I became weak and thought I was a freak. Friends called me names and played games with my emotion, which lit a flame, consuming words formed to behead relationship bonds and burn them to ashes. I was alone. Nobody knew and nobody cared enough to see the scars and feel the tears. My feeble feet fought to stand firm and tall, sending promises never to fall. See, tears often formed like raindrops sent to punish the dry land and quench the tongues of many roots. But my roots were dying and deprived from what we call love. Felt like I was sentenced to life in prison with no chance of parole. I knew love had given me a no trespass order, or so I thought. Depression caused my mind to revolve around topics that placed my world on a 3D dimension, of which two people shared the vision, but only one wanted to follow the mission. It was a battle, but I had to give an eviction notice that duplicated like mitosis. The danger I imposed on the stranger returned with a warning that ended with death, so I backed away and reorganized my scattered brain. I was down and defeated. Suicide crept closer and closer and brought peace among the dreadful war. I caught myself lying down on the floor entertaining thoughts of death, and silence like waves engulfs my space with a slow pace ready to drown my entire race. I was ready to end it all. I was ready to fall to the ground and admit defeat, now realizing I was on repeat to a wonderful deceit. I needed someone to join me in this fight. Someone who was strong and had the right to go on a great height with one-way flight to victory. I counted my profit and my loss and remembered the cross. The one who they tossed to the tree to free me from this war had already taken the flight to the greatest height and returned with so much might that even depression flees at his sight. So as I was hitting the bottom rock, I had a knock that was unlike the other knocks. This knock was gentle. And the visitor waited for my decision to motivate me to open the door. But my disrespecting trust tied my hands and raised the barrier for me to let him in. He started erasing my history with his soft voice, but fear persisted and anxiety grew. I yelled out, "If you want me, you gotta fight for me." Immediately my attention switched its affection, for I saw a savior with gloves in a ring fighting for my redemption. The choice I made has led me to rejoice because Jesus gave me back my tender voice. I stand here as a witness to a battle fought and blood shed, for Jesus paid it all. All to him I owe. Sin had left a crimson stain, but he washed it white as snow.
Stand with us as we close this morning. Stories of war, they think you're like, but I've heard a tender whisper in the dead of night and sound. That you're pleased and that I'm never alone. You're good, good heart. To you are, to you are, to you are. And I'm loved by you. It's who I am, it's who I am, it's who I am. I've seen many searching for 'cause you're just what we need before we say you're a good, good God. It's who you are. It's who you are. It's who you are. Yes, I'm loved by you. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's who I am. You are perfect in all of your ways. You are perfect in all of your ways. You are perfect in all of your ways. To us, you are perfect. You are perfect in all of your ways. You are perfect in all of your ways. You are perfect in all of your ways. To oh, love so undeniable. I can hardly speak. Peace so unexplainable. I can hardly think as you call me. Deeper still as you call me. Deeper still as you call me. Deeper still in love. Love, you're a good, good God. It's who you are. It's who you are. It's who you are. And I'm loved by you. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's who I am. You are perfect. God, you are perfect in all of your ways. You are perfect in all of your ways. You are perfect in all of your ways. To us, you are perfect. You are perfect in all of your ways. You are perfect in all of your ways. God, you're perfect in all of your ways. To us. Father God, we come before you just one more time. Just ask you for a special blessing that we can take out and share with the world beyond the walls of this building. Help it to keep growing in our hearts, the gospel message, the good news that you're returning, you died for us. Help us to share this with somebody else and in hopes that maybe it might be what they need to hear at the right time. We're hurting, God, and just give us healing today. We need peace. Give us some. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for this space. Pray all this in your name, Jesus Christ. Amen. Thank you once again for worshiping with us. You're welcome. Join us just on the other side there for food. We're going to keep worshiping for a couple songs. You're welcome to join us, but otherwise, have a fantastic weekend. You are perfect in all of your ways. You are perfect in all of your ways. God, you're perfect in all of your ways. You are perfect in all of your ways to us. You're a good, good Father. You're a good, good Father. It's who you are. It's who you are. It's who you are. I'm loved by you. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's who I am. When night has fallen, when fear is calling, still you're calling me. When faith is lost and my hope exhausted, you will be my strength. When my mind says I'm not good enough, God, you're enough for me. Yeah, I decided I'm not giving up. You won't give up on me. You won't give up on me. Love is holding on and it won't let go. I feel it breaking out like an echo. Your love is holding on and it won't let go. I feel it breaking out like an echo. It's echoing my soul. So, in every season you keep repeating promises to me. Oh, now there's no stopping what you have started until it is complete. When my mind says I'm not good enough, oh God, you're enough for me. Yeah, and I decided I'm not giving up, 'cause you won't give up on me. You won't give up on me. Oh, your love is holding on and it won't let go. I feel it breaking out like an echo. Your love is holding on and it won't let go. I feel it breaking out like an echo, echo in my soul. Oh, oh. So, oh, oh, an echo in my soul. Oh, oh. So, oh, when my mind says I'm not good enough, God, you're enough for me. Yeah, I decided I'm not giving up, 'cause you won't give up on me. You won't give up on me. Your love is holding on and it won't let go. I feel it breaking out and like an echo. Your love is holding on and it won't let go. I feel it breaking out like an echo. Your love is holding on and it won't let go. Feel it breaking out like an echo. Your love is holding on and it won't let go. Feel it breaking out like an echo. It's echoing my soul. Oh, so, oh, oh, an echo in my soul. Oh, precious is the flow that makes me white as snow. No other fount I know. I am washed, I am washed, I am drenched in love. All souls are torn by the blood of the Lamb. I am too wide, once held me down. How beautiful that cleansing flood. I am washed, I am washed, I am drenched in love. Singing, oh precious, oh precious is the flow that makes me white as snow. No other mounts I know. I am washed, I am washed, I am drenched in love. We're singing, oh, 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 all filth made clean in the crimson sea. I'm not ashamed of once shackled me. How infinite that grace divine. Oh, I am free, I am free, I am a child of God. Let me hear you sing, oh precious. We're singing, oh precious is the flow that makes me white as snow. No other founts I know. I am washed, I am washed, I am drenched in love. We're singing, oh, 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 how priceless, how precious. There is power in the blood of Jesus. How priceless, how precious. There is power of Jesus. How priceless, how precious. There is power in the blood. Oh, there is power, power, wonder working power in the blood. Oh, there is power, power, wonder working power in the blood. Oh, man, one more time, there's power, there is power, power, wonder working power in the blood. I was buried deep with Christ my Lord. Now I'm raised to life forevermore. Oh, my name's been carved upon your heart. No, not death, no, not death could ever rip us apart. Oh, precious is the flow